When you get to go fishing as often as I do, you have some very strange and unusual things happen to you. And just such a thing has already happened today. We're going to roll back and show you what that is, give you lots of information on how you can catch several species of fish, show you one of my favorite lakes, and have a bunch of fun too, all packed into a quick 30 minutes. Glad you're along with us, everybody. Let's go with this thing. Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Hi everybody, and welcome into this week's show, and I'm very glad you're along with us this week because we are going to break the ordinary for what you normally see on an episode of Fox Sports Outdoors. As you can see right now, my beautiful Nitro Z19 is in the water right now. Why? Because we've already been fishing. That's right. We have fished all day long and we are back at the boat ramp getting ready to load the boat. We are going to show you in reverse flashback order what happened today because something very unusual did happen. We caught the major grand slam of all of the game fish species that swim in Lake Texoma. Now this is an 87,000 surface acre lake situated right on the Oklahoma-Texas border. And it's got lots of different fish in it, including catfish, crappie, smallmouth and largemouth bass, white bass, and stripers. And we're going to catch all 6 of those species on this episode and narrate our way through. The only one we won't show you is a big blue catfish that we caught, but we're going to show you everything else. While we're out doing that, we're taking you around your local region for your fishing reports for this week from our expert team of insider reporters. In 2015, in about May of that year, this region experienced over 51 inches of rain. It flooded this lake to a point that it was 37 feet above normal level. It basically shut everything down because this lake was so messed up. Well, today we show you the comeback of Lake Texoma and how good the fishing is right now and give you all the information you'll need if you want to make a trip here. Right now though, we're going to get out on the lake and start showing you some of these fish that we caught. We get things started back at the FSN studios with your weekend planner.
According to the Salooner tables, both days of the weekend will offer fair game fish activity. Peak morning hours will begin at 7:55 on Saturday and 8:39 on Sunday, while top evening action should take place fairly close to dusk. Expect the sun to rise at 6:23 and set at 8:39. And evenings will feature a moon that is 57% visible. We'll be right back with all of the current fishing reports from around the area. And I'll return with fishing legend Hank Parker on this week's Ask the Pro feature. Back in a bit.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Luz, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Jean LaRue Bass Baits and Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leaders in soft plastic lures innovation. And Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
He's got it, he's got it. Got him. Fish on. There we go. There's a fish. He's got it. He's got it. Got him. Fish on. There we go. There we go. That's a smallie right there. All right, look at that. That is a good Texoma Lake smallie right there. He ate it way down there. I'm gonna have to get a pair of pliers after him, but I wanna show him to you. There we go, folks. That is the first of the Texoma Grand Slam species for today. That's a good smallmouth bass. I'll tell you this, Texoma has got the most catchable population of smallies in Texas for sure. And one of the most catchable populations in Oklahoma, certainly the biggest ones in Oklahoma with the possible exception of Lake Tenkiller, live right here in Texoma. Lots of good, solid smallies like that one. Look at the beautiful bronze color on him. And he ate a little Ned Rig. If you want a smallmouth fish, They live on these sloping rocky banks with especially the little small gravel rock, what they call it pea gravel. It's not really as small as pea gravel, but it is just the smaller rock. And these smallies tend to live on the smaller rock like this right in front of me. You can see it right here, slopes off. You just go down it with a little crankbait, a little spinner bait. They'll hit a topwater on a cloudy day like today, and they will definitely hit a Ned Rig. All right, we're gonna release that smallie right there. Okay, so now that that fish has swam safely away, here's the Ned Rig. It's just a little 1/8 ounce lead jig head with a Jean LaRue inchworm on the back of it. It's sectioned off in 1/2 inch sections, so you can actually bite it off and shorten it if you need to. A lot of guys even cut the tail off of it. That is a deadly smallmouth bass bait, especially on this lake. All right, we're off to a good start. Striped bass report coming up. What's going on with Texoma with the stripers? We tell you next. First, here's fishing and lake reports for you.
Hey, we've got birds, fishermen, and cast netters sharing the same tail race waters below our larger impoundments here in Oklahoma that are still releasing quantities of water. But you know what? All seem to be having good success. Now, the guys that are fishing below Keystone Dam that you see here were doing really well, catching some quality stripers. Most of them were throwing live shad. They're using heavy-duty spinning gears, long rods, big reels with great line capacity, heavy lead sinkers on the bottom of their line, a live shad about 10 to 12 inches above that, making long casts quartering up in the current, following that current down as that weight bobs along the bottom, filling those strikes, catching up with some fish. Now, that same technique was also working for catfish in the area. Saw a couple guys catch nice catfish doing exactly the same thing. And there were some people throwing spinners above a sinker like that. And while I didn't witness any catching at the time, they said they've done pretty well catching white bass and stripers doing that, especially early and late in the day. And as far as white bass and striper fishing, the topwater action for those species are really starting to pick up at Lake Texoma now, which is a very typical hot summer pattern. It's a lot of fun when that happens. Look for those schooling fish breaking on top in some of the coves on Texoma, and also those long points that come out, and then of course in front of those riprap areas like I talked about last week. Good time of year to be fishing. You might want to spend as much time in the water as on top of it because it is hot, but you can't catch them if you don't go.
Look at that, there's the bonus of the day right there. Ha ha! Hey everybody, welcome back. We're at Lake Texoma on the Oklahoma-Texas border. You just saw us catch a nice smallmouth bass. Great population of those in this lake. Next up, let's tell you about the striped bass population here. We actually came here to catch stripers. We spent our morning doing that. We caught some on some structure, some underwater humps, underwater points. We'll show you a couple of the stripers and a little bit of a report on the striped bass fishery here before we get you to some more fishing and lake reports from where you live. The technique I'm using out here on Texoma with the swim bait with the lead jig head is I'm letting it go to the bottom. And it can take a long time in 25, 30 feet of water, but once it gets to the bottom, dropping that rod tip and just swimming it back up off the bottom with a slow, steady retrieve. And then I push my button again, let it go back to the bottom, let it hit, start swimming it again, and he's got it. There we go. When you're in a bunch of fish, there's not a much better way of catching stripers, not bad, than that swimming technique. There we go. Well, not a monster, but certainly a keeper. You could fill up a box with those and have a good fish fry if you were here at Texoma doing that right there. I'll give you Dan Barnett's contact information a little bit later in case you want to book a guide trip here. Let me tell you that when those floods hit back in 2015, water was 30 some odd feet high for over a month. And when they had those gates open, and again, a lot of folks thought that they lost a lot of the stripers, but between the restocks and the fish that were remaining in the lake, the population seems to be really good. Dan did catch 2 10-pounders just a couple of weeks ago. So the fish are gaining some size. So I really think this place is rebounding back. It has rebounded through some tremendous floods and some tremendous droughts over the years, but it always seems to bounce back. Here are fishing and lake reports from a lake near you.
Hey friends, Cajun Phil here with your Fox, Louisiana Fishing Report. Well, I tell you what, we got Tropical Storm Cindy out of here, thank goodness. We had high tides, some wind, no damage whatsoever. We did have to pull the boats up for 2 or 3 days, but the water's back down right now. Ooh, fishing is good, I'm telling you. Just before the storm, we were catching lots of trout. The storm came through, dumped a lot of rain, a lot of wind. Kind of messed up the water for a few days, but right now it's on again. I tell you what, yesterday we had 2 boats out. One of them targeted just trout. They came in with a 3-man limit of speckled trout and about a half a dozen redfish and a couple of flounder. The other boat, they targeted just redfish. They came in with their limit. There was 4 people in that boat. They came in with their limit of 20 redfish, and they had about a half a dozen trout. So right now, fishing is good. You need to get on down here to the Cajun Paradise Lodge and Charters and get you some. We talked to other boats along the south. Talked to Bill Lake down in Houma. Bill's catching lots of trout right now. He's actually going to close-in rigs right offshore. We talked to a couple of guys down in Delacroix and Hopedale. They're catching mostly redfish on gold spoons in very shallow water. You need to just come on down. Watch Cajun Phil and Captain Kevin Sunday morning right here on Fox Sports Southwest, Outdoors and Fishing. Tell you what, till next week, this is old Cajun Phil for Captain Kevin, who's out there right now starching and yanking, saying, happy fishing, may God bless, and we're going to see you folks next week, right here. Bye-bye.
The next fish species in the Grand Slam of Lake Texoma is the crappie. We're going to show you one quick shot of a really good crappie we caught. There's one, got another one. Oh, look at that. Look at that, there's the bonus of the day right there. Ha ha! I caught a great big slab crappie quite by accident on my swim bait. Look at that big dude. Well, there's the bonus of Lake Texoma right there. It's loaded with crappie. It's a great crappie lake, and most people don't even realize how good the crappie fishery is here. A few years back, I came and did a crappie fishing episode of our show. You can go back and watch it on the archives. Just put Texoma into the search bar at the top of our archive page, and you'll see our crappie show. But man, that's a crappie while I'm striper fishing right there, and a great big one. Too bad we're not keeping him today, or that one would go right in the grease, but back he goes. Bonus fish of Lake Texoma, and I'll show you a quick shot. Our camera person, Monty Lewis, caught a really fat largemouth bass out here on a spoon, swimming it up through the stripers as well. So you never know what you're gonna catch at Lake Texoma. Stay with us. We're coming right back to Oklahoma, southern Oklahoma at Lake Texoma right after this.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Motor Guide, because accuracy matters. Lowrance Electronics, celebrating 60 years of fish finding excellence. Find, navigate, dominate. And Excite Technologies, powering the world forward.
Yes, sir. Those are the whites that I was telling you about. They have grown up in this lake. Next up, here at Lake Texoma, it's time to tell you a little bit about the mystery fish I mentioned earlier. Most people know about the striped bass population here. A lot know about the smallmouth population. Very few people are aware of the giant white bass that live in Lake Texoma. Now, we experienced some of that as well. After we caught some stripers, we started jigging a spoon up and down off the bottom, off some underwater humps, and caught some big white bass. We'll show you one of those. There's got to be fish around here because I can see them all over my graph. Oh, that's a good white. Look at that one. All right. Yes, sir. Those are the whites that I was telling you about. They have grown up in this lake. And that is a good specimen right there just to get it started. Well, we're fishing structure here. I'm not going to keep them today, but you could keep those and fillet them. If you want to catch stripers, it's a horizontal presentation. You reel it sideways. You want to catch a white bass, you jig it straight up and down. Make sure it comes in contact with the bottom every time, and that's your best chance to catch one. Let's get you fishing in lake reports and get things started.
Hi folks, this week's Lone Star Lakes is once again brought to you by Chili Cheeks, the innovative cooling cushion that'll help you beat our Texas summer heat. Now you freeze the insert, put it in the cushion, and sit on a cool, comforting pad all day long. Use it at the golf course, use it at the lake. Chili Cheeks will help keep you cool this summer. Now, not long ago, we fished an episode of Fox Sports Outdoors at Lake Whitney catching sand bass. We were so intrigued by the lake, we decided to go back and fish for largemouths, and the lake did not disappoint. Starting the morning on Main Lake Points just outside Fraser Creek, we threw both topwaters and white chartreuse spinnerbaits, catching quite a few bass. As the sun got higher and the day got longer, that bite died out. We went about 2/3 of the way back in the creeks and found the fish up very shallow in heavy, thick cover. Pitching that spinnerbait worked, but the best bait was one of my favorites for summertime bass, and that's the blue glimmer trickworm with just a dash of chartreuse on the tail. That really paid off in the creeks there on Lake Whitney. Now, very near Lake Whitney is Lake Aquila, and we've got reports of great crappie catches at Aquila on both jigs and minnows, depending on the day. And of course, you'll be looking for brush piles to drop those baits into. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Chili Cheeks, keeping you cool in the Texas summer heat. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island, the fishing capital of Texas, where anglers enjoy pristine bays, estuaries, 18 miles of surf, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Plus the local restaurants will even cook your catch come sundown. Come fish and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit portaransas.org. Well, Tropical Storm Cindy is history, and this looks to be one of those extra long holiday weekends since July 4th occurs on Tuesday. When it's time to hide from the wind or crowds, try fishing the Intercoastal Waterway south of Sabine to Galveston or West Galveston Bay to Freeport. Look for reefs at the mouth of Marsh Lakes. Offshore, Upper Coast short rigs have been an option for specks. Out of Freeport, red snapper, dorado, ling, and kingfish have been at nearshore rigs. Rockport anglers have hid from the wind in Copano Bay, where reefs and shorelines have given up trout and reds. Behind Mustang and North Padre Island, shallow grass beds, pockets, and guts have held fish. Topwater lures, soft plastics, and croaker have been baits of choice. Also fish the edge of any color changes. This weekend, Saturday's a 3-tide day with 2 low tides and just 1 high. Sunday has a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday at 5:30, or catch the repeat airing Saturday morning at 8. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button. And see lots of our how-to and product videos by selecting the how-to button. Join our online fishing community. Just click the like button on our Facebook page for access to daily posts with lots of fishing news, videos, and frequent giveaways. And stay up to date with all the latest fishing information and photos by following our Twitter feed. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than a boat, it's a tracker. Mercury Marine, go boldly. And Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro question. This week, Jim asks, does getting up early to go fishing really matter? For the answer, we asked 2-time Bassmaster Classic champion, Hank Parker.
Getting up early can make all the difference in the world, and it's worth it. People ask me all the time, do you like to fish early morning, midday, or late afternoon? I say, I like to go early and stay late, and if it happens, I'm there.
Thank you, Hank. If you have a question for one of the anglers, visit our website, follow the Ask the Pro link on the right side of the page, and send it in. Now, one lucky viewer wins a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
Time right now for this week's winner in the Costa Catch of the Week contest. Here we go. He is Tim Miller of Norman, Oklahoma, showing not 1, but 2 2-pound plus white bass he caught at Lake Murray, Oklahoma. If you'd like to have a chance to be our next winner, go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, click in the Costa Catch of the Week area on the right side of the front page, and follow the instructions to send us your big fish photo. If you're a winner, you'll win a free pair of Costa sunglasses of your choice. If you'd like to see all of the Costa frame and lens styles, just go back to the front page of our website, click the Costa logo. You can see all of the 580 polycarbonate and glass lenses in all the various colors, and all of the frame styles, including the one I was wearing on this week's show called Raphael. On our gear feature this week, I want to talk to you a little bit about marine batteries. The batteries that power your boat and everything in it. Out on a lake like Texoma, I can assure you that I am nothing without good quality batteries. And I have the Exide brand batteries in my boat all the time, powering everything I've got. Now, here are some things you need to know about batteries. First of all, you need to choose the right battery. You can either get a cranking battery to crank your outboard engine, deep cycle battery to power your trolling motor so that you can charge them and discharge them over and over without damaging that battery, or they also make a multi-purpose battery. Now, the top of the line batteries are the AGM Edge batteries. They have technology in them that far surpasses everything else. They charge in less time, they hold a charge much longer, they will take many more discharges and recharges than your standard lead acid battery. So really, everything you could possibly want in a marine battery is packed into the Exide Edge line of batteries. Look for those at your local retailer or on the Exide website. You can get there by going back to the front page of our website and clicking on the Exide logo. There are days when I really miss my grandpa. He was very present in my life all through the formative years, had a big impact on me, and even today, I keep a list in my desk drawer of all the things I can remember that my grandpa taught me, and that list is lengthy. The takeaway from that is this: the time you spend with your grandkids, or any kids you spend time with, is very valuable because it comes at a point in their life when they are learning the difference between good and evil, right and wrong, morals, and even who God is. All of those things are being shaped during these formative years. So remember, the things you say and do around your grandkids will be remembered long after you're gone. Resolve to shape a young life as you walk and talk and go along. As we wrap up here at Lake Texoma, I'd like to give you a little more information about booking your stay and coming fishing at this wonderful lake. First of all, you can stay where we stay when we come here at the beautiful Tanglewood Resort and Conference Center. It's located right on the shores of Lake Texoma, conveniently situated, great rooms, full condominiums, restaurant with great food, a bar, 18-hole golf course. And in addition to that, if you want to book your guide trip, bring the whole family, they can book corporate outings, big groups or small groups. Contact Dan Barnett. He's been a great friend of ours for many years here on the show. He's got several guides working for him. He can handle your family or your guide trip to fish for any of the species that we caught on this week's episode. From beautiful Lake Texoma on the Oklahoma-Texas border, until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.